Hello, St. Patrick's and friends of St. Patrick's. Merry Christmas. I promised last week when I talked about why we give, that this week I would talk about why we go to church. And I'll give you 3 reasons. The first one is out of devotion to one another. In Acts 2 and in Acts 20, we see how the church from the beginning and years later, that's what we find in Acts 20, that they were devoted to gathering together. It says in verse 42 of chapter 2 that they were devoted to the fellowship, to the teaching of the disciples, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. And so by gathering weekly and regularly, the early church was demonstrated by their time and that what they did, that they were devoted to one another, that they weren't islands unto themselves, but they were a fellowship. So that's one reason. The second reason, and we read in I think it's in Colossians chapter 3, that Paul tells us that when we gather, that we're gathering to admonish one another and to teach one another. And that we do it not just with scripture, but with hymns and songs and spiritual songs. So actually the entire breadth, the comprehensive service is there to admonish and teach us as well. So we're getting trained in our discipleship as Christians. What a thought, that it's not just a head knowledge, but that sometimes, singing, as we all know, music can move us in ways that just a taught word or even a story is unable to. And the third reason is that if you look back at the life of Christ, it was his pattern as well. We know from the Gospels that Jesus would go to the synagogue every Sabbath day, as was his custom. So Jesus sets the pattern for us. Now, of course, our Sabbath now is the first day of the week, which is what the disciples were doing and the early church was doing, but we're imitating Christ. And of course, that's what the word Christian means, is it means imitators of Christ or little Christ. So look, there's something to be said for our devotion to one another. There's something to be said, of course, that this is a place that we are taught and admonished, that as you look at your Christian walk, it's kind of like a path, and going to church regularly sets us back on that path well. But also we're imitating Christ. He loves the church and he loves the gathering. If we're going to be Christ followers, little Christ, then we ought to be imitating him. Now, I'll tell you just personally, this is the bonus point. So I gave you 1, 2, and 3. I gave you number 4. I've noticed that in my life, is the time that I first started to really accept Christ and follow after him when I was 16. That the regular gathering of the church for me has been absolutely a way that it has kept me on the straight and narrow. It has been an encouragement to me. It has been a source of community for me. And it has been a protection for me. Sometimes I'll go through seasons maybe, and I don't notice the growth, or I don't feel the growth, or maybe I don't feel close to God. But as I look back, I see how that regular attendance, regular giving of myself, of time, talk about scarcity of money, now we have scarcity of time, that regular giving of time, gathering with the people has changed me over the years, over the months, and over the weeks. It's as if I've noticed, like, I didn't realize I've climbed that far, or I've gone that far. So that's some answers as to why we gather, and especially in this season, this wonderful, beautiful season of Christmas, as we transition from Advent to Christmas to the new year. It is the reasons why we should all gather together. I hope you find joy in that and it makes sense to you. I, for one, need to return to that. Why do we gather for church again? What's the point? There are some points, and I'm sure there are more that you maybe have thought. I'd love to hear about them. But we are praying for you guys as a staff. Thank you for turning in your cards and for being so faithful to our church. If you need anything for us, let us know. Reminder that we still have church the Sunday in between Christmas and New Year's. We'd love to see you at 9 a.m. God bless you all. Bye-bye.